Hey guys, so Burrows is here. As you can see, he changed the title screen. I'm sorry, I'm too excited to fucking stall. I'm fucking getting into this immediately. Oh, okay then. Um, I guess I'll see you when I get to the part where I were. Okay, guys. So here we are. We are at the we are at the end of the first update. Once I click this, we're getting new territory, and I'm so excited. Monday, December 27th. Oh boy. Splash some cold water on my face to help me wake up. Instinctively go to check my face in the mirror, only to be met with an empty reflection. Guess I should get used to that. I hope I don't look like a complete mess. Even if it does help my alibi. Although Mark was pretty nice to me before I cleaned up. Since sight isn't going to help, let's go with the next best thing. Take a whiff under my arms. Nothing too egregious. Possums are naturally always a little musky, so it's hard to tell how I come off to other species. Maybe Mark's into that. Oh my god. I mean, as a posh guy, sure, but maybe he likes to get dirty on the side. This is New York. Who knows what the rich get up to here? Got my shit from the drying rack and inspected. Mark was nice enough to let me run it through the dryer overnight. I'll probably need to borrow some heavier clothing if we're going to be outside all day. Oh, that's right, they're going to do a tour of the city, I forgot. I can't help but feel like a charity case. At some point, I'll have to find a way to pay him back for all this. When people never sat right by me. That's why I left home in the first place. But in the end, all I did was hurt more people. Coffee's on. Coming. Alright, game time. It's gonna be great. Throw my shirt and make my way to the common area. Mark's sitting on the couch reading the paper. Two steaming cups sit on the coffee table. He leans down to grab one and grins as he sees me. Feeling better? I made sure to brew a French roast for you. Threw out plenty of sugar cubes in here to boot. I smile and take a seat. The intoxicating smell of freshly brewed coffee is waking me up more than the cold water did. Take a nice big sip. This is really, really good coffee. I'm glad you approve. I ordered these from a little small shop in the village, and they order from a small cafe in Paris. Who, I guess, orders it from Colombia? Huh. Talk about a roundabout. Talk about a roundabout way to get a cup of joe. At least it's sweet this time. He nods and sits the newspaper down to stretch, complete with a big, dopey canine grin. Gray, I think you should attempt to explain what the nightmare was about, because yeah, that's a bit of a bad nightmare to have, especially when you told him about Virgil and everything that happened there. So I think you should tell him. Although I'm pretty sure the thing that connects all these people that we saw in the one scene is that they're all planning on offing themselves. It wouldn't make sense. He hasn't changed out of his robe. My. Can't believe how dense his fur is. It's soft but still kind of shaggy with tufts crawling up in thick patches all over his chest and stomach. Not bad musculature for a man his age either. Though I'm only guessing. He looks maybe 32, 33. His clothes must be custom tailored to fit him perfectly, or I would have noticed his cute little belly sooner. The 10, I don't fucking know, was cut like marble, but I've always been a sucker for more average body types. I always joked once that I learned, that I once learned, that I learned, I always joked that once I learned how to cook, I'd fatten him up into a perfect chunky lapdog. Luckily for him, I can't cook worth a damn. I'm done oogling. I realize I've been staring for a while. Look up to see Mark staring back. He laughs awkwardly. See something strange? No, I mean, yes. Your body, it's very red. Not great at furry to begin with, but that was definitely not my best word. Yes, very absorbent, Mr. Gray. It reminds me that I want to kill myself again. Honestly, it's so red I get mistaken for a fox all the time. I always have to show him the mane to prove I'm part of the canine club. Honestly, I had never met a man wolf up until now, and I see the similarities, but I've met enough fox to know the differences. Really, he's a man wolf? Really? Huh. I wouldn't have guessed that. That's a really obscure. Honestly, makes this VM better because that's like not even a wolf, really. Not even canines. The number one difference being fox. The number one difference being a fox's abundance of sex pheromones. Most critters smell something before we see it, and you can absolutely tell when a fox is in the mood. Canines have better control over the chemical side of their body language, but can't hide the physical signs very well. I notice Mark's tail is wagging. Do you want to see? Sure. Kind of curious, all things considered. He faces away from me. Okay, I was scared for a second. I was got to pause it. Suppose in his back. What I thought was just a tuft of dark hair runs all the way down like a mohawk. It trails down his spine to the base of his tail, thinning out right above where I imagined his ass is. Can I touch it? Go ahead, I shampooed and everything. My hand along the length of it almost feels like a horse's mane. There's substance to it, since the shape, but my fingers glide through it like normal hair, get to the smallest back and stop. Well, I did it. Pull away. I love the animations. You don't see that often in VNs. I mean, you don't see it in Echo either, except for the one scene, which we will not mention. I pull away and he lifts his robe back over his shoulders. I didn't want to see how far it went, but let's not get frisky with a complete stranger just yet, alright? Been down that road enough times. Ooh, now you're part of an elite group. Oh? I touched Mark's, made him look out with this lousy shirt and all that. We laugh and finish our coffee. He heads to the bedroom to change before we head out, and I grab the newspaper, curious as to what's happening in the future. Is there going to be an image? I flip it over to the front page to skim the headlines of the day. Tensions rise as civil rights protesters continue to clash with NYPD. PKI resistance in Indonesia squashed. UK backs new order. Did I read that? I don't think I read that right. US, not UK. Number of heroin addicts soar as drug epidemic spreads to sub. Does he even know what heroin is? Well, that was a bummer. Knowing race is still an issue makes my heart sink. Felt like things were slowly improving back in my time. Dartford folk owned almost every club and restaurant on my block. Simone and a 10 raking good money too. There was nothing compared to how my family lived. And the mayor and governor were still pale furs at the end of the day. Remember that I'm a bubble when it comes to this stuff. I've had ghost-faced and turncoat hissed at me enough times to know it takes more than good intention to convince anyone I'm true with the cause. Shake off the negative thoughts and take our dirty cups over to the sink. Least I can do while I'm here for free is clean up after myself. Mark's kitchen was small but tidy. Pots and pans hanging on the wall looked like they'd never been used. Thin layer of dust outlining each one confirms my suspicions. Oh well, if I had this kind of money again, it's not like I eat my own shitty cooking either. Almost ready. Might pick out a coat for you? Okay, nothing too flashy, please. Out of curiosity, I checked the fridge. Electric. Fancy. Pop it open and 3 bottles of beer in the takeout box. Yep, that's what I expected. Whoa, okay, wow. New outfit. That's actually uncommon in VNs. Mark returns and tosses a dry clean bag over the couch. He's wearing a sharp overcoat. I think you'll approve. Zip over the bag, not sure what to expect. We'll see. Huh? It's an Ulster coat, fine tweed and in black. It wouldn't be out of place in my own time. Mark really does have an eye for fashion. Wow, this is very nice. Right, I thought it'd be danced with your fur color. I have to disagree. I usually avoid dark colors because I hate emphasizing how white my face fur is. Some kind of washed out phantom when I wear black. This would look great on Brightly colored fur like Mark's, though, which is probably why he bought it. Let me try it on before I walk out looking like a kid wearing his dad's coat. I'm not that tall. You're a giant, sir. Oh no, my leg just got stuck. Okay. Or did it? No, it didn't. Okay. I slip into it and walk over to a mirror in the foyer. Somehow it fits me perfectly. Did he accidentally get the wrong size and forget to return it? Mark whistles at me and I blush a little. Wow, looking dapper, Mr. Gray. Told you'd be a good fit. Thanks. What the fuck? What the fuck? What's with the music? He walks behind me and leans in, his arms hanging over my chest and around my neck. It's a little heavy. I wouldn't normally mind it, but it's hard to breathe with him on top of me. Yeah, but it's just how I remembered. Uncanny, really. He mutters something under his breath I can't quite make out. Hey, Gray. Breathing wild and intending to squeak out a reply. Yeah. You don't have to sleep on the couch anymore. Not if you don't want to. My bed is big enough for both of us. I don't know how to respond. The idea sounds lovely, but right now I feel overwhelmed by the weight of his body crushing me. I choke out another reply. Are you sure? I start feeling lightheaded. He eases off me and fixes my collar, smiling innocently. Fuck you, game. Fuck you. I was so worried for a second. Oh my god. Hospitality's #1 priority at El Casa de Mark. He locks the door and waves me over. Come along then. Big days ahead of us. I sigh and relief and follow him out, trying to think about whatever that was. Wait, does that mean that Mark is... Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh no. I know what this is. Oh no. This is when they find the note he left. Little did they know he's fucking 37 years in the future. Yeah. That's 1928. It was 1928, I know that. Don't mind me, I'm just, getting stuff because I was on the bed and I want to sit my cat. I want to sit at my desk. Sorry for the stopping of the narration. I'm guessing Simone is the skunk, so don't look for me. I don't want to be found. I love you all. Great. Oh my god. I wasn't expecting this. I really wasn't. So, what do you make of this? It's gotta be the most half-assed suicide note I've ever laid eyes on. Right? Doesn't even sound like him at all. And the handwriting is sloppy too. Don't those things usually require multiple attempts? Trash can's empty, so I guess he rushed it. I don't think he's actually suicidal, but... What? What if he's serious? What if he's is? He's grown, it's his choice. Holy fuck. This is the dude you let bang you, Gray? What the fuck? Ed? Oh, no, he probably just ran away again. A chicken-hearted guy like him couldn't go through with offing himself. We should go out and find him before he gets too far. No. What is wrong with you? He's art. Listen, Simone, I know you're having him around. I know you like having him around, but we're not kids anymore. This ain't playtime. Let's be honest with ourselves. He's a mooch. He's taking advantage of your kindness as well as Jean's greed. Maybe he ran on back to his daddy's crying and fussing, got tired of pretending to be a city boy and running around with... Maybe he just needs some distance from you. It wasn't easy for him to focus on work with you coming around all the time. You say that. Are we in the same boat? Oh, I remember how you couldn't stop crying after he and I got together. Wait. Oh. Oh, I remember how you couldn't stop crying after Ray and I got together. Ray broke your heart, Simone.
That's in the past. I moved on.
Maybe the past where he should stay. This could be good for both of us.
He'll live to know because he wants to be found. His heart isn't in it. I know it. At least I know I want someone to try and find me.
Never give up, do you? Well, this storm ain't letting up anytime soon. We should get going now before he does anything stupid. Well, more stupid than this.
That's right, let's go.
Oh my god. Where is that gonna lead? He's not in the past anymore. He's in 1960. He's in 1964. No, 65. We hop in the elevator and start the minute and a half long trip down. So, what are you showing me first? Well, you're new here, so I wanted to show you the staples of the city. Empire State, Statue of Liberty, all that jazz. The door's open, we get outside. Mark manages to wave down a taxi rather quick when we pile in. First up, Times Square. After that, the Empire State's a short walk over. Swell. Twofer. What's Times Square like? Imagine it. Rows of bright, flashing neon lights as far as the eye can see. Billboards the size of buildings. See thrilling stage shows at the Broadway Theater. His eyes spark with admiration. I nods every word, hardly able to contain myself, waiting to arrive at these promised lands. I'm no stranger to an urban landscape, but New Orleans is nothing like this. From what I've seen, this city seems to ooze culture and opulence out of every alley. His singing voice wasn't bad either, a smoky tenor that resonated pleasantly throughout our tiny carriage. His deep voice was, and no doubt, partly due to cigarettes I recall him smoking that strange place back when we first met. It occurs to me that he's refrained from lying up since I've joined him. Perhaps he's quitting for his New Year's resolution? Remember how on edge 10 he was when he tried to quit and shudder. His temper's short enough as it is. The guy practically bet our heads off any time we asked how it was going. When Ed wanted to hurt someone, he went for the throat every time. Last fight. Simone wasn't there to... Suddenly the taxi screeches to a halt and the driver flicks the ticker off. Here you guys out, that'll be $1.75, pal. Mark throws much more than the required amount through the collection window as he leap out into the world. Here, Times Square, what adventure awaits? Oh my god. Oh. Oh, okay, I see that. I see that word. And I see bisexual. Okay. What the hell is this? Streets are littered with trash and almost no people are out. Bitter wind whips up through the narrow street and I tuck my head in, pulling the collar off my new coat. New coat over my sensitive ears. I don't just recover from my previous bout with frostbite. My fleshy bits were still pretty raw. Marco notices and pulls me closer, locking eyes with me and stuffing his hand in my pocket to cover mine. Do you mind if I still a little heat? I shake my head. Sam was pretty warm and I think I was actually the one benefiting from it. I expected more people. Well, it is a Monday. Maybe we walk a little farther up. As we stroll down the icy sidewalk, I look to my left. I see some of those neon signs Mark was raving about earlier. Girls, XXX. Peep show. Oh my god. The curvy feline wearing only an overcoat and heels beckons an old badger into one of the shops. He looks around suspiciously before sliding off a ring and darting inside. Oh shit, that's fucked. A few bums lay outside, slumped over in various states of undress, drinking out of bottles covered in brown paper bags. One is pantsless and fully split. Okay, we lock eyes and he smiles at me with all four of his remaining teeth. Ain't such looking for someone to shove in that big old snout of yours. No. He laughs and helicopters his filthy.
Yeah, me. Mark pulls me aside and flips the vagrant off before turning back to me with an exasperated look on his face. Are you sure this is the same time as story you're talking about, Mark?
Well, let's walk down this way instead. Less scenic and much safer.
We about face and start jogging down the avenue. Mark pulls me along so hard I almost see dirt tumbling over a snowbank. Hey, slow down a bit.
Yes, of course. I meant to drop us off at 7th, not 8th.
Silly me, we're almost there. Round a corner so fast I almost knocked into a trash can. The greatest fun anybody... Oh, it's Broadway, I'm guessing.
Okay, here we are, the theater district.
I'm excited. We're going the private cell Mark just gave me. The idea of seeing big-time stars on Broadway instead of randoms in a dingy club made me giddy. Unless it was Simone, of course. She always knocked it out of the park. Are you even going to mention any of this to him? Are you going to... I feel like you should, to be completely honest. We walk past a concert hall and I run over the listings.
Who was playing? Gershwin?
That was not him.
Freddie's been dead for quite some time.
Ouch, okay. Of all the shocks to my system, that one hurt the most. See, it lists one Barbra Streisand. No clue who that is, so I move on towards the pay bills. Oh, right, who's big right now? Is Tallulah Bankhead still performing?
Okay, now I know you weren't lying yesterday. Sheesh.
I told you.
Looks like all that's playing is a matinee of Sweet Charity, you know, Foss?
He does a little gesture with his hands. No, but I hope he sees a doctor about that tick. Okay. Okay, I love how they added that to the stat. That's a nice detail. He chuckles when we go around the corner into the main square. There's more people around now. None of them are the hobo flash variety.
Well, here it is, the source of all the postcards.
I look up expecting to see the sea of dazzling lights Mark described. Billboards the size of my house and dancing neon. I'll give him one thing, the lights are on, but it's 11 in the morning.
It looks better at night.
You don't say. I feel bad. I could easily imagine how great this would look in the dark, but after seeing how sketchy the regulars are, I wouldn't want to stick around to see them.
Gray,
I hear music in my ears perk up. Someone with the guitar is playing for tips down the block, and I veer off in that direction. Mark whines, upset that things aren't going to plan. Come on, it's something at least.
I guess.
You can say till we keep walking. The guitarist is a husky wearing a cowboy hat playing folk songs for a gathering crowd of people. The music wasn't anything special, but his voice was nice, and I found myself tapping my feet.
This isn't so bad. At least we don't have to wait in line.
See, I told you. Suddenly, a coyote also, in a cowboy hat, rushes up behind him and knocks us to the ground. The guitar smashes on the ground, strings snapping with a discordant twang.
You son of a saw fucking act!
The crowd gasps.
Damn it, who the hell you think you are?
I start wrestling on the ground, knocking the tip jar over. Some of the crowd flees in terror, while others scramble to pick up the loose fucking pieces of shit. Fists start to fly, and eventually some cops run out of a nearby coffee shop, breaking up the fight over laying a few bits of their own.
Alright, you tools, get out of your systems. Congratulations, just bought yourself 2 tickets to the coziest sale in Watkins.
Oh my god. They roughly yanked them behind the back and hurried them down the street. The tar cop knocks the theater to the floor, laughing as he struggles to get up without losing his arms. It's a bloody mess. His lips bust and both eyes swelled shut. It's hard to tell whether it's from that squall or the arrest. The cop passes by and shoot me a dirty look. I must have been getting my back. Shorter cop pushes the husky into his partner and sizes me up.
Got something to say, half and half?
We respond. Mark steps in between us and dodges me in the opposite direction.
We don't want any trouble.
Turns around, whispering, not breaking eye contact with the officer.
Let's get out of here.
I nod, still scowling at the picture his resting hand at the nightstick. The other, a falcon, keeps his eyes trailing us as well. Have a nice day, sir. Pebble venom on that last word. Bird grunts and walks away from us. Like the coyote yelped behind me, followed by the slum of a car door me as we escape unscathed. Phew. he had so much looked sideways at Mark. Well, maybe I'd just give his mind. I don't think I'd win that fight. Probably wouldn't do him any good if I get locked up my second day anyway. I'm not surprised at the aggression from the police at all. Whatever small amount of privilege possums have from our pale faces and meanness against unabashed racist power. Mark's fists are shaking as I follow him through the crowd. Jesus fucking Christ. We walk in silence for a while. The mood has shifted so much in just a few minutes and the day has only just begun. I can tell Mark's a bad news about how fast he's walking. Not even check him still behind him. I feel a little bad even though it was ultimately out of our control. Mark mutters something under his breath. I had to see a dog and pony show, huh? Try to catch up with him and try to get his attention. I have to practically step in front of him, but he eventually stops and sighs to himself. Mark, stop. He keeps walking and stares at the ground, able to look at me. I wasn't trying to cause problems. That cop was just such a... No, it's not that. You're right to be upset. They were assholes. Then why are you... It's nothing, look. Just came on an off day, that's all. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Okay, sure, neither of us are to blame, though. Shit happens sometimes. Flame looks at him with a concerned expression. I just... Need a smoke? Huh? I chuckle and pantomime puffing an imaginary cigarette. I know you smoke, Mark. I can smell it over your clothes, the apartment. Maybe your breath when I'm lucky. Well, I didn't want to impose. Mark, it's fine. Everyone I know smokes cigarettes. I'm used to it. He sighs, pulling a loose one out from his coat's breast pocket. I just felt bad. Subjecting you to secondhand smoke is all. Lung cancer, you know. But my doctor smoked. So does mine. After a flash from his lighter, he takes a deep dragon sighs. Smoke billowing out of his nostrils like twin dragons. Anyway, that's not what I was gonna say. What then? I just really wanted to impress you. You already have. Besides, you can't control the entire city. There are weirdos everywhere. He nods but doesn't seem convinced. I place a hand on his shoulder and give it a gentle squeeze. Still have two sides to see. The day is young. Come on, don't give up. His eyes brighten. He smiles back weakly. Puts out his cigarette and cranes his head, looking at the street signs. Well, in that case, we're already on 33rd. We just have to walk down to 5th Avenue and we'll be at the Empire State Building. Points up at the giant building that's been looming over us the whole day. I even saw it from Mark's apartment, miles away from here. Like the other skyscrapers I've seen, it doesn't instill the same primal sense of fear in me. Despite being the tallest, something about it being that big just makes sense cosmically. Like Big Ben or the Eiffel Tower. We approach the base and there are small groups of people scattered about, some taking pictures while others simply gawk at it. Let's get a better look, shall we? I nod and walk over to the doors. I stand as close to them as I can and look straight up. Fuck, that's trippy. Can't even see the top anymore. Mark comes to join me and chuckles. Would you believe the top takes less time than my buildings? There's no way that's true. Wait, does it? Only one way to find out. Phil tapped my shoulder and turned around to see a mouse dressed in what looks like a bellhop uniform, only with a military-style cap. Welcome to the world's tallest building. Would you like a photo? We glance at each other and nod in unison. I love mementos like this, even if it'll take a while to get the film developed. Alright, you two, stand right on this spot. Perfect. Say cheese. 1, 2, 3. Good job. I'm seeing the stars. I wasn't expecting that little camera to have such a big flash. So, where do we pick up the photos? As I say this, I notice a white square coming out of the front of it. She pulls it out. Oh, it was a fucking... Okay. And starts shaking it. Just give me a minute here. It'll be good to go. Huh? Aren't Polaroids great? Yeah, totally. Great. Are you saying you've never taken an instant photo before? I guess I am, yeah? Is that weird? I'm never gonna get used to the upgrading technology. Shouldn't Mark find my reactions a little strange? Nah, and either way, now you have. That was a little too easy. He's acting. Oh, but I cannot wait to see how Gray reacts to, like, the 80s. Like, that's going to be absolutely insane. The guide hands me the photo and runs off, while another group had just arrived. Wow, a color model too. Not too shabby. Let me take a look. He hangs over me and I angle it so we can see. Wow, it really is instant. And in color. It's like a mini painting. I showed up in it. I guess it's only reflections that are affected. I should have thought of that before, actually. This could have ruined everything if I showed up. If it ended This could have ruined everything if it ended up showing Mark standing alone. At least I know what I look like now. Not ideal, but not a wreck either. Mark looks good though, so no surprise there. I've never actually been inside the Empire State. I've never been to. I've been to New York, but I was too young to remember it. So you know. Mark pockets the photo and we head inside to the lobby. Everything is made of marble and brass, and the Art Deco designs fit perfectly with the color scheme. Welcome. First time here? Yes, actually, I have a question. Of course, ask away. Trying to make sure Mark's not in earshot. I see Mark's in frame pains, so I think I'm in the clear. Leaning to whisper. Is it true? Go on. That they used to land dirigibles on the roof of this building? The man I came here with kept insisting the whole way here. Martin laughs, elbowing his coworker, just as she chuckles along with him. Oh boy, a sucker's blown every minute. Excuse me? Pops a tear away and reaches under the desk, pulling out a photo to show me. I gasp. It shows a blimp almost the length of the building docking at the top. Some wise guy doctored this back in the 30s and got a rumor going. Sure, there were talks about it, but it's obviously a terrible idea. Aircrafts and tall buildings don't mix. I nod, wondering if Mark was pulling my leg or genuinely believed the rumor. I think the attendant walked over to the sitting area Mark's standing by. You stare at the schematics of the building's construction. I'd seen plenty of those in my dad's workshop. Contractors would bring over plans and go over the required materials piece by piece before we'd settle on the price. You a fan of blueprints? Yep, they have this lovely mathematical quality to them. Or each function, you know. There's a piece in our museum's vault that I've begged Mr. Cartwright to put up for auction, but he just won't budge. That's a bummer. Yes, well, I have a plan. I asked Lauren, she's the head of the conservation department, to select it for our holiday party's charity auction. Wow, can she do that? Technically, her role as an event coordinator overrides our bosses, since the auction is being funded by a non-for-profit organization. It's foolproof. Smile shyly, clearly proud of his master plan coming together. I guess Mark can be a little conniving when he needs to be. I don't mind, as long as he doesn't try to use that big brain to mess with me. Well, we've seen everything in the lobby. What's next? He points at a row of gilded elevators behind me. Only way is up. Come on. Oh my god, I would hate this. I would hate this so much. I hate heights. We head into one of the elevators, and to my surprise, it has an attendant waiting inside. Guess it's not a dead career after all. Observation deck, please. The door is closed and the machine lurches upward faster than expected. Imagining the floors must be zipping by second by second and grab the handrail, feeling dizzy. I was wrong. This is still terrifying. Big buildings are bad. Me. Oh, jeez, are you alright? You know what always makes me feel better? What? On the trip back down, you can jump and get some hang time for a second. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, very cool. This was a terrible idea. I'm seriously close to losing my lunch. Oh my god, fuck this. Thankfully, I feel the elevator stop when the doors open. I walk out and get hit with a blast of cold air. The strong wind practically pushed me back into the car. Oh god, we're outside. Why are we outside? Come on, you can see the whole city from up here. I cling against the wall for dear life. We're on the roof. The top floor I couldn't even see from the ground. From this perspective, it looks like we're floating in the sky. All the other buildings are gone. Mark bravely walks out towards the flimsy-looking guardrail to take a look. Mark, be careful. Don't worry, come on. Let's try to find my house. Even just imagining looking down from there sends a shiver through my body and I slide down the wall to the cold floor. I don't think that's a great idea. Oh man, what a rush. You believe they used to land blimps up here? Help. Oh shit. He runs back over and helps me up. I can't help but cling to his sleeves like a child. It feels like the next strong breeze will knock me off the side and send me tumbling to my death. Why didn't you tell me you were afraid of heights? I've never been this high up before. What about a plane? You ever flown on a plane? No! I'm getting annoyed. Why is he making this sound like my fault again? I just want to get the hell off this roof before I pass out. I'm going back down. I can't do this. Hey, it's fine. Let's go together, okay? I nod and wait for the elevator to come back up. He stands behind me and shields me from the wind with his broad back. His long arms caging me in like a safety net. It works, and thankfully the next elevator is also empty. We rush in and ride back down. Mark resists trying out his hang time trick, and continues to rub my back until we reach the ground floor. Solid earth. I'm shivering as I walk by the welcome booth. The Martin shoots Mark a dirty look. Silently accusing him of traumatizing me, he mouths sorry and holds the door open. I race out of the building and walk over to a trash can, hacking up all the spit that had formed from my pre-vomit-induced retching. Mark waits patiently for me by the door, looking upset once again. Alright, so this didn't go very well either. At least I can brag to everyone back home that I stood 102 stories high and lived. Tenny would just be impressed that I didn't try to jump off. If I can breathe easy again, I walk over to the big lug and gently punch his shoulder. Hey! I feel a lot better now, thanks. Thanks? I'm the one who put you through this in the first place. I feel awful. This one's on me, okay? Just no more tall buildings. Not in my house? One exception. He straightens up and rewards me with a big smile. I guess we don't have to go to the top of the Statue of Liberty then. I gulp, knowing that another surprise like that would fully send me over the edge. Maybe we should skip that for now, as fun as that sounds. Well, that was the final stop of my tour. What else you want to do? Before I can answer, my stomach growls. Lunch should be nice. I'd go for some chow, too. Let me find a phone, and I'll come on you to place a reservation. Wow, a reservation? Seems awfully fancy for a casual day out, but I guess this is how Mark operates. Back at the manor, we could cook fixing our meals, but lunch was hardly ever more than a soup or a sandwich. We walk a few blocks and find a public phone booth. Mark thumbs in a nickel and whips out a little notebook full of phone numbers. What are you feeling like? French? Italian? Maybe Asian fusion? French sounds good. Someone I'm really qualified to judge. Etienne and Jean cooked up a mean Cajun fry every Sunday after church, and every now and then they try some authentic French recipes from cookbooks. Hello, Yvonne's? Yes, it's Mark. What do you mean there's a private party? I've been dining with you for 8 years now. Sure you can find me a... Excuse me, want to say that one again? Oh, really? We'll up yours too, pal. Slams the receiver down so hard it rattles the windows and storms out, leaning against the booth, his arms crossed, scrambling to pull another cigarette. No dice? Can you believe they couldn't get a single table all day? If Renard had picked up, he would have found us something. Flick, drag, exhale. No clue who this jackass was either. Must have been a new hire who didn't get the memo. Well, they just lost a loyal customer. Come on, it's not worth blacklisting the damn place over. It wouldn't be the first place I'd blacklist her. Rather, who blacklisted me. But I guess you're right. We still have to eat, don't we? I could try the Blue Bungalow in Central Park. The idea of seeing through another angry call filled me with dread. I hit my arm around Mark to tug me along and start to walk. Hey, what are you... Let's just look around. We can try something new. I don't know anything around here. Yeah, something new. Where's your adventure? I left it at home. I ignore his whine and sniff around, hoping my strongest sense can find us some grub. It was hard to smell past Mark's smokiness, but eventually something sticks out. Savory, fried, creamy. Follow my nose, and end up at a row of various shops that form a larger kitchenette. Luncheonette, Jesus Christ, luncheonette. Gruff day workers are waiting in line to grab quick bites with a few businessmen. Mark's basically a ragdoll at this point as I pull him over, trying to find the source of the scent, store by store. I quickly find Dana's Polish Kitchen. Let's try this place. I've never had Polish food before. In this dump, I don't want us to get sick. He says a little too loudly. A few shop owners shoot annoyed looks our way. I wince and try to smile back, letting them on their side. Where's this snobbishness Mark coming from? Did he forget the little hole in the wall he told me to do yesterday? Seemed tapping his foot, eager to leave. Trust me, the best food is always from little places like this. Look at all these people. It can't be that bad. Alright. I ordered a few pierogies and some kielbasa to start with. They sound the most familiar, and I don't want to risk getting something to risk when Mark's being so difficult. Alright, that only $1.85. Oh, shit. I opened my wallet. There's about 70 cents and a free drink voucher from Jane's bar. That would be beyond to expire by now. 1 second. Hey, could I borrow $2? Sorry. Oh, sure. He reaches into a coat pocket and has me make a few crumpled bills. There's at least a 6 in here. Guess this is just spare change for him. I grab what I need and run back to pay for order before sitting down across from him. I should have guessed you wouldn't have any cash on you. My bad. It's alright. Hey. Yes? Wanna know something funny? Sure. I'm actually having a great time. How? There's been a complete disaster. No, it hasn't. Do you know why? Enlighten me. Gently boop his nose and giggle as his ears flick wildly in confusion. Because I'm spending with you, wise guy. That's enough to make up for almost giving you a heart attack. Even a shitty day can be fun if you spend with a friend. So, you really think of us as friends, then? You can hear his tail thumping against the bench as he wags ferociously. He's so cute, I love him. I do, but you'll have to make it through this meal or I'll start questioning my taste in acquaintances, deal? Oh, I'll try. For you. There's the mark I recognize. Whew. He shifts mood so quickly, staying on his good side is going to be key to this all working. He's ADHD or something, I'm guessing. A few minutes later, a man brings our food on plastic trays. The presentation is lacking, but it smells incredible. 6 cheese pierogies, each with sour cream and applesauce dip for dipping, and 2 long coiled sausages. My mouth is watering already. We dig in and have fallen in love immediately. Savory fried dough with salty cheese, sweet caramelized onions, and a hit of sour from the cream make the perfect combination for a hearty meal during this harsh winter months. From way over the kielbasa and surprised by the smoky flavor and slight heat. Nothing close to andouille or anything in Cajun kitchen, but enough to be appreciated. Mayor Mark moaned into his food, clearly echoing my sentiments. Holy fuck, this is good, and it was so cheap. I can't stop eating. Poland, I am so sorry about World War II. You deserve better. I have no idea what that means, but yes, justice for Poland. I almost get up to order more, but I want to get sick of something so lovely. We quickly polish off our plates and leave the trays at the front. The cashier gives us a knowing smirk, having witnessed our religious experience. I thank him and we walk out, bellies full and moods greatly improved. I check the clock on a nearby lamppost and see it's only 4. The light's already starting to dim and I feel pretty tired, having been on my feet the whole day. I hear Mark yawn and imagine he slept less than I did, probably been woken up by me after I wandered to his bedroom after my nightmare. That nightmare. Hey, feeling tired yet? Yeah, a little. Might have just been the food, but I'm about ready to head home. Me too. Your couch is sounding really good right now. It does sound good. I spot a subway station, recall the same line. Recall seeing the same line not far from his apartment. Hey, why don't we take the train? Curious about the subway. It looks at the station back at me, his nose scrunched up in disgust. I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, just about anybody can ride those things. Remember your encounter with the friendly flasher? It's how most New York gets around now. Surely it's... Gray, you're with me now. You don't have to put yourself in dangerous situations anymore. I'll get us a cab. But... He ignores my protests and walks to the curb. He gets ignored by a few cabs and starts to get pissed off again. God damn it, I guess it wasn't the cigarettes after all. I thought we made some progress, but all it takes is one little mishap to set him off. And when he's like that, he says things that are completely out of character. Especially coming up people who ride the train. He was speaking so charitably about that almost yesterday. Now he doesn't want to risk riding in the same car as one. Did he reach out to me for another reason? Was that whole thing an act to gain my trust? I mean, kind-hearted or not, you don't bring strangers home without a good reason. And so readily accepting all the odd things I say by accident. Surely that must have set off some red flags by now. 20 minutes pass and the sun's practically set. managed to finally hail us a taxi after working through a few cigarettes while pacing in circles angrily. I reluctantly scoot in next to Mark as he's sternly giving the cabbie directions. Start to zone out, the calming purr of the engine putting me into a trance once again. Mark's voice, now hoarse from yelling, begins to fade out. I don't know what it is about long drive. Okay. I walk across the damp, mossy moorland guided by moonlight. It's a cool night and the fireflies seem to curtsy at me before continuing their intricate dance. I use my staff to pull myself up onto a nearby ledge, the tiny bells adorning it softly, echoing through the clearing. The sky is full of glistening stars, and I sit on my newly found perch, gazing upward at the beauty of the great mother provided for us. Suddenly my whiskers twitch and I sense chaos rise in the distance. The trees are muttering one another. Something is wrong. I pull myself up onto my staff and sniff the air. Fire. It's coming from the south, down by the low. What the fuck? I have to wake up or back home. Got a slight crick in my neck. I slept a lot harder than intended. What the fuck was that? I'm sorry. What? I'm surprised Mark didn't wake me up this time. I lazily fall him back up to his apartment and sprawl on the couch, desperate decompression that roller coaster of a tour. Mark hangs up our coats and heads to the bathroom, leaving me to relax alone. He hasn't spoken a word since we got back. Is he angry with me? At himself? I need the shower turn on. Guess I have some time to myself. The clock's ticking away and I feel like a kid waiting for his mom to pick him up for playdate, only I have nowhere else to go. I wish Simone was here. She always knew how to keep things lively, even during awkward moments. She refused to have a bad time and could diffuse any argument. Even the explosive ones and me and Et used to have. She had no stake in our relationship at all, but still took it upon herself to salvage our friendship, even after what I put her through. I wonder if she knew I kept seeing Et after our breakup. I get butterflies in my stomach every time we met up with her after sneaking a quick fuck behind the work shed. Partly because I knew what we were doing was bad in the long run. Partly because I knew she thought our friendship was strong enough to keep us together even after our affair. And to think, Christine would have ended up stuck with all this emotional baggage should I have gone along with that farce of a marriage my father put together. I don't want to think about that. What to do? I could always rub. Mark's still in the shower. I don't know how much time I have. Really? I'm gonna pause and, Okay, so I can actually stop. This isn't right. Grumpy or not, Mark trusts me enough to let me stay here. I shouldn't take advantage of that kindness just for a quick nut. I'll wait for until I have some real privacy. I'm glad I decided to guess Mark emerged from the bathroom moments later. Sorry about that. I just look grimy after being out all day. I really needed to wash the city out before I could relax. No worries. Do whatever makes you comfortable. It's your house, after all. Do you want to jump in yourself? Water's still nice and hot. Thanks, but it's still a little too early for me. I took one a few days ago. Us critters like possums don't really need to wash head to toe too often. The oils our bodies produce, that's not how you spell that. I mean, yes, it is how you spell, but you don't need to put that there. It's just... Produce keep us pretty balanced, and it takes a lot for us to really stink. As long as I wash the parts that matter daily, you never know the difference. Of course, that's assuming you only stick around other possums. Tiny can always said he could smell me from 1,000 paces and either gave me a bar of soap as a joke birthday gift one year, which is funny since he can't seem to keep his snot away from my ass. Mark and he nods, seem not disgusted at all. Makes sense. Trust me. I'd let you know if I thought you needed one. Thanks. It's hard to gauge how other species will take it. He chuckles and walks over to the kitchen garden with some wine glasses out of the cabinet. You're not the first possum I met, trust me. New York is every species you could imagine. You get used to everybody doing their own thing. He bends down and hears the clinking of glass as he grabs a bottle of wine from somewhere. Besides, I enjoy a little extra spice every now and then. You smell good, Gray. I blush and kick my feet up against the couch playfully. Well, you smell pretty good too. Did you put on cologne again right out of the shower? Nope, they sell a bath scent of that scent, so I used the soap that came with it. I appreciate attention to details. In the animal world, having a signature scent is a good way to stick out among your peers. Bet that drive for individuality helped him get where he is now. Everything about Mark is just so, well, Mark. He uncorks the bottle and sets it out to breathe before sauntering back over to me. I figure we'll give it 20 minutes or so. Shame I couldn't fit a proper wine rack in here, but they stack nice under the sink. I'm not that picky with wine. I left home before I could ever try the nice stuff. No, so you come for money after all. I had a feeling. Laying back my hands behind my head. I'm not thrilled to talk about my family, but it come up eventually. Yeah, old money. But I gave up a long time ago. Must have been for good reason then. It was... Mark, you know I'm not from around here. Well, yeah, New Orleans in 1928 if I'm correct. Yeah, well, not exactly. I used to live north of the city. Ever heard of the Oakfield Plantation? He shakes his head. My family's owned it for generations. I grew up in the manor there. We had a full custodial staff, cooks, groundkeepers, anything you could imagine. So something pretty nasty must happen for you to leave. It's not that simple. It's more like I realized our livelihood was only possible because my grandfather owned slaves. Everything I used to think was beautiful suddenly looked dirty, corrupted. What did you do? I tried to tell my sister how I felt. She usually stuck it out for me, but nobody in the family would listen. They were too concerned with our reputation. They were worried I would cause a big stink, go against the politics of our conglomerates. So my father's solution was to force me to marry the daughter of an oil baron. He threatened to cut me off completely if I didn't. Wow, did you even know the girl? No, and it wasn't down to love, of course. It would help the company's upcoming merger. I was content with staying a bachelor from when our family line would die out one day. So you ran. His words stung a little, though his tone was more remorseful than outright judgmental. I left before I was forced to play into my father's hand. It wasn't an easy decision. Mark wrapping an arm around me again. Feels a little inappropriate after the last comment. Color me impressed. You stood up for yourself. That's a commendable act. Feels like he's babying me. I could tell from just a glance you were special. Boy, do I know how to pick 'em. Right. Can't keep doing this with him. I need to know something. I gently push his arm off me and look him in the eyes. Mark, why did you let me come stay with you? He looks at me dumbfounded and blinks for a few seconds, unsure of how to answer. Well, you look like you need help. I have the means, so... And those bums we saw yesterday? They didn't need help? He crosses his arms and looks at me sternly, the corner of his mouth twitching. The ones that were making fool of themselves in front of the whorehouse? Yeah, they needed help. Professional help. That's not the point. What about me made you trust me right away? I can't really put my finger on it. What's the point of asking me this now? I don't understand how any of this could seem normal to him. It's important because I need to know if I can trust you. He scoffs and stands up, pacing around the couch. Trust me? What have I done? Gray, if you're uncomfortable, I'm sorry. Just tell me what I did so I can apologize. No, it's not like that. It's just... Damn it. How can I make you understand that? Understand what? That it's dangerous to bring a stranger home where I live by myself? That you could be taking advantage of my kindness? Mark... That you've had every opportunity to rob me, kill me, rape me, and I would only have myself to blame. Well, guess what? I know this is fucking stupid. Please, don't yell, But if someone had just gone... If someone had done that for Joshua, If I had just... He crumples onto the couch and starts sobbing to his head. I quickly reach out to comfort him, but retract, unsure of where our boundaries lie right now. I'm sorry. I want to help. I just don't know what to do. Please, tell me what's going on. He wipes his nose in his arms and takes a few deep breaths before shakily replying. No, you were right. You should know why. I didn't want to talk about it, but it happened 3 years ago. I had a brother, Josh. He wasn't great at much. School, work, girls. It always turned out the same for him. Our parents aren't patient people. They saw one son excelling and the other being a drain on their resources, on society. I nodded. I I could easily relate, remembering how adept Jules was to playing a role in the family while I barely trailed behind. Even though he was a fuck-up, I loved him. I mean, we're family, we're supposed to take care of each other, right? Yeah, in theory. He clears his throat and grips his knees tightly, stilling himself what's to come next. He always hung around with the wrong crowd. Our folks didn't like him bringing his friends home since they'd smoke and drink all night. Didn't know that he was stealing their money to buy pot. One night, they just about had it. They kicked him out with only his shirt on his back. Jesus, what did you do? His ears lower with his gaze and he looks away. I didn't do anything. I had been living my own for years and had no idea what was going on with him. Parents didn't care to mention it to me either. Oh. I found out a few months later, when he surprised me in the lobby. He had lost a ton of weight and I could tell he was using something stronger than pot. So I tucked him in, cleaned him up, kept him fed. I was just happy to have my little bro back in my life. I even took him to a museum. He said he was so proud of me. I wish I had said it back. Not long after that, he reconnected with those friends and they got him hooked on speed. We were fighting one night. I said some things I shouldn't have. And he walked out on me. Of his own accord, of course. I found out about his passing on New Year's morning a week later. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Wipes a final tear away with his pinky and smiles. I'm the one who should be sorry. I didn't want to put all that on you. I move closer and place a hand on his knee. No, I'm glad you did. I understand now. You really remind me of him at his best. I guess that's why. Seeing you out there like that, I felt like I'd be letting Josh die again. You didn't let him die. You did whatever you could to keep him alive, more than your parents did. I feel especially sore about hearing another case of shitty parenting. I can't imagine not caring if my child lived or died. Those people deserve eternal damnation if there was even such a thing. Stand up out of the kitchen. Mark flips around with a confused woof. Gray? If there was ever a conversation that needed to be followed by wine, it's this one. I pour us 2 heavy glasses and walk over. We toast and I close my eyes to take a long, contemplative sip. It's fabulous wine as expected. Your Mark gulped the entire glass down and I shrug. It's been that kind of day. Suddenly he surprises me with a hug. He buries his head into my shoulder and I feel warm tears soak through my shirt. I'm so sorry. For what? You're my guest. I shouldn't have made you feel uncomfortable. This whole day was... Gently push his snout up and press my forehead to his, looking at it and at his gentle amber eyes. I told you, I'm your friend, not your guest. Mark, Before I can finish, he plants his muzzle on mine and locks me into a tender kiss. He tastes the wine on his lips with a hint of ash. I'm so shocked that I can't pull away at first. I'm gonna save here, because I don't trust myself. I'm gonna pull back. I pull my head away and laugh awkwardly. Mark's sweet, but I have to establish our friendship first before I can explore any deeper feelings. That's how I would react, honestly. Me personally. Sorry, I'm not ready for that yet. Oh, of course. Excuse me, I don't know what came over me. Just awkwardly to the line and chuckles. It's not that I'm opposed to it, just not right now. Let's work on being friends first, alright? Perks up and smiles, wagging his tail. Works for me, I'll behave myself then. Suddenly his stomach growls and he rubs his belly, glancing at the clock. Well, I'd say it's about dinner time. I'm down to eat. He reaches behind him and grabs a phone, thick coiled cable hanging around his shoulder like one of Simone's feather boas. I think I'll take a note of your book. Pizza? I love you. We laugh and order a large pie to go with our drinks. We spend the rest of the night recounting our day between greasy bits of dough and polish off that bottle of wine before cracking open a second. I never expected Mark to be so forward. Maybe because of the times? I'm used to assuming most men are off the table, strictly for my own safety. I suddenly feel a lot more at ease knowing I can be myself while staying with Mark. As I finish up my third slice, I cough awkwardly to his attention. His mid-bite, a long string of cheese connecting his snout to a half-eaten slice. So, yes? How did you know? What, that I was gay? Hearing the word said so casually makes me instinctually regret that someone could be spying on us. Well, yes, from the way those cops talked to us earlier, it doesn't seem like people are any more accepting here. He leans back, taking a deep sip of wine before continuing. Well, I guess the simple answer is I went to college. I know, it's cliche. But once I was able to get away from my folks and spend some time getting to know myself, getting to choose how I wanted to be instead of what I was expected, it was suddenly all so clear. Women just weren't for me, men were. See, I'm happy it was simple for you then. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like that when you figured it out. I take out my collar nervously. I haven't exactly figured it out. I'm not gay, at least I don't think that's the right word. He leans in interested. Oh, do tell. I blush, somewhat more embarrassed talking about this and kissing him. I've had relations with women before and loved them. Well, loved one. He nods, his tone still respectful. I see, so you like both men and women? Mark, I like... Oh, he's pansexual. Okay. I like everything. There's an awkward pause where some laughter. I cover my head in shame as his laugh turns into rough coughs, pushing it down with more drink. Mark! Sorry, that caught me off guard. I think I understand what you mean. There's a word for it if it's what I think it is. I stare curiously and nod. Now, we know you can love a man and woman equally, yes? Right. Would you feel the same if you met one he was still alive as the other? I think for a moment I never really considered it. Gene was a man, but regularly dressed as a girl, and I found him equally beautiful to either gender's presentation. And I don't think I'd have loved Simone any less if her bottom half was like mine or had teens. Yes, I'd feel the same no matter what gender they felt they were. Then you're pansexual. Congratulations. Goes over to the kitchen with pans on the wall. Not that kind of pan. All it means you have the capacity to feel attracted to or fall in love with someone regardless of their sex or gender. Feel like some final piece of the puzzle's clicked into place, a word I've been desperate to find. Wow, so I am. Take his hand in mine and hold it to my chest. Thank you, you don't understand how long that has bothered me. Smile softly over my chest gently. I'm glad, but remember, a word is just a word. At the end of the day, no one term can truly define who you are as an individual, Josh. Gray. That's what I said. He chuckles and coughs up a wine before he takes our glasses over to the sink. With a little time gone by, Mark was now able to laugh at the bumps along the way. His smile lights up the room, and I feel that warm, safe feeling wash over me again. I just need context, that's all. Anyone in his position would be a little off sometimes. After we lost Sam, well, none of us were ever the same. That's so cute. Oh my god. He comes back and cozy up to me yawning. He nuzzles into my chest and I gently stroke his mane. The both of us are pleasantly buzzed and it seems like a good time to start winding things down for the evening. This might have been one of the best days of my life. Even if things are uncertain and scary at times. If Hugh's here with me, things will be alright. It's trying to drift off with him still on top of me. He's falling asleep, rising and falling in time with breathing. Damn, we never made it to bed. Oh well. Another night on the couch won't kill me. Oh no. Fuck you. Ah, young love. You love to see it. Oh, you're going to leave them be for tonight? How generous. Who the? Oh, it's just you. I figure they earn a good night right before things get... Well, it wouldn't be a fair game if they were plumb tuckered now, would it? If you ask me, it's still quite unbalanced. But that's what I've come to expect from your playstyle. Careful now, boy. Come now, 'twas a joke. I'd like to make a wager then. Alrighty, let's hear it. I'm betting that the possum will fall early. Really now? Are you sure you want to bet against the house? Especially after you work so hard to win your own? I have a condition. What? Give me a piece on the board. I see now. That would be mighty interesting, wouldn't it? Something to distract him from that. Then, only then gonna be a fair test of the boy's mettle. And what would it be in it for you, son? What's in it for me? Why, to let me pick it apart and examine its contents, piece by piece. You're a sick puppy, you know that. But alrighty, it's a deal. All hands are off the table now. You try anything funny and all bets are off, son. Splendid. Well then, I have work to do. I'll be seeing you soon, Mr. Gray. What? What, wait, no, what? What? Okay, I'm gonna pause it here and go back and save my game. Alright, I have saved my fucking game, and now I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued now. So Virgil is playing some kind of game with somebody else, and he's wagering the lives of these people? Is that what's happening? Because if that's what's happening, that's fucked up. But it's a really interesting, intriguing concept. I fucking love how well polished the writing, just the art in general is. It's so good. I have not seen a VN this well made in a while. Not to mention right off the fucking bat too, like, jeez. I'm looking forward to this. Because, I'm looking forward to getting scared. I'm looking forward to getting attached to these fuckers. I already fucking love... I already love Gray and I already love, Mark. I'm very interested in seeing the others. Hero, I think that one, the fox's name. I don't remember the other two though. I'll have to watch my old video for that. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time, fuckers.